Welcome to In Edina, a program about the people, places, and activities all in the city of Edina. I'm your host, Lillian McDonald. We bring you this broadcast from Decori Designs. We're talking about a lot of different topics today. The economy, one of them. And how can we handle our changing economy? And how is it affecting our businesses and schools? And we'll start first with Gordon Hughes, City Manager, and also Superintendent Rick Dressen. Thanks so much for joining us on Edina.
Thank you.
Nice to be here. I know it's gloom and doom all the time, but there is hope. It's about planning, and it's about addressing our changing future, right?
That is. That's what it's about. And we probably see it, the most hopeful side of it is in those students who show up every day in our classroom. And their dreams are still very vivid, and their hopes are very high. So we as a community need to rally to say, how do we work through these challenging times to make sure their dreams still can be met?
We really have the same situation. You know, Edina is just an absolutely vibrant community. We've been through downturns in the economy before, although it looks like this one may stick a bit longer than downturns we've had in the past. We just can't lose sight of the wonderful tax base and the wonderful wealth of volunteers and residents and businesses we have in the community to help us through times like this.
What is the city doing to plan for this economic change that we've already experienced now for the last year? It just seems to be, as you said, sticking.
You know, from a city government standpoint, I'm happy to say we're probably better off than any other city in the state of Minnesota. So many cities are very dependent on state aids. Some cities garner over half of their revenues directly from the state of Minnesota. And of course, when there's a downturn in the economy and those aids dry up, cities are kind of left high and dry. Edina, due to the way state law works and formulas work, we realize only about 0.75% of our total general fund revenues directly from the state of Minnesota.
Well, while you might not be as dependent on the state aid, you still are protecting yourself because we could be looking at a long-term economic change.
Well, absolutely. You know, other things we have to worry about is a big component of our budget comes from things like building permit fees. So as the economy declines, construction declines, building permits decline, and as a result, the revenue that comes from those non-tax sources in the city also potentially can suffer. You know, the city's also involved in a number of businesses itself. We're in the golf business, we're in the liquor business, we're in the aquatic center business, we're in the arts center business, we're in the ice arena business. All those things are really set up and managed as if they were private businesses. And clearly some of the things we're doing now in light of the economic downturn is looking at how can we better market those enterprises in the city to make sure that we have good participation and a good revenue stream from them.
And of course, our community also means our schools. And schools are probably hit the hardest from all of this economy.
Well, it's being challenged, and we're very dependent on what happens at the state legislature. So we work very closely with our local legislators as well as other legislators throughout Minnesota and nationally.
That's right. Your revenues are more dependent than the city revenues are.
They are, because about 85% of our budget really comes from what occurs down in St. Paul through a legislative session, either through law or through what they provide in revenues or controls on the expenditure side. So, yeah, we're very involved with that, and we're planning. You know, we make our projections. Again, we're in very good financial position as compared to other school districts, and I think we'll take advantage of that. I think it is the power of community that has kept the city strong. It's going to keep us strong, too. We're going to rely on our strong planning. We're going to rely on involvement of the community to help us set our priorities. We take every dollar and we put it in the direction we want to go so we can advance that learning for all kids.
Everybody's tightening their belts, though. Are the schools tightening our belts?
We're tightening our belt this year. We've already reduced our funds for this current budget by $130,000, and we're looking to gather another $20,000 yet this year just to continue to adjust it. But we're expected to reduce our shortfall, I should say, for what we're projecting for the upcoming years, someplace between 2.5 and 3.5% of our general fund budget. So it is going to take some tightening. It's going to take some innovation. And there's also a time of opportunity so that we can take advantage of this, maybe to do things differently and better.
Mm-hmm. And some ideas that are on the table right now.
Well, some of the things we're looking at generating revenue as well. So we're trying to create some of our own programs that would generate revenue. But we know that we're probably going to have to modify some of our programs, and we'll probably see some staffing reductions. But if we do that wisely, we think we can continue to advance our strategic plan and our vision of a personalized learning experience for all kids.
You're looking at revamping the strategic plan for the school system.
I mentioned that earlier, that we are looking at saying the strategic plan that we developed in 2005, 2006 really needs an overhaul because things have changed so much via technology and this economic time. So we're going to take advantage of that, and this summer we're going to revisit it and pump it up again to make sure we're on track with where we want to get and how we use the resources of time, talent, and funds to get it accomplished.
People always think that they don't have a say in some of these decisions, and that's really not true. We want to encourage residents, businesses, students, parents to get involved. What can they do to stay on top of the changing economy?
Well, I think we pride ourselves at the city, and I know the school does too, in having a very transparent system. It's really just impossible for us to keep a secret. That's simple. And what we try to do is make sure that everything we do budget-wise, everything we do planning-wise is very transparent. People can see what's going on. They can participate if they choose. On January 27th, for example, we had our first town hall meeting, which was a special meeting that the council had. No agenda, just an opportunity for people to come in, speak about issues that are that's on their mind. That's a first for us, but not a last. We will have another town hall meeting this fall, and it again provides another opportunity for people to come in, weigh in on what suggestions they may have to improve the city.
How's it going in your neighborhood?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
We do the same. I mean, I think we want to be very transparent. We want to be very engaged, not only with the families who have school-age children, but our entire community. And I think we are really going to be looking at expanding that whole resource effort, that volunteerism. And so we're looking at restructuring our volunteer program so that we can use the resources of our community to advance that. And perfect example is in May of this year, we're going to expand our internship programs for our seniors and give them a better experience in the workforce. And so we've got community members volunteering all over to help our seniors get that work experience. And I think we'll continue to look at new ways to give kids learning opportunities, not just within the classroom, but beyond the classroom doors.
And I guess I see that as a bonus in these challenging economic times, because there are opportunities now for people to truly stop everything, get involved, and make a change and have impact.
We've always been so strong in the community, both school and city, on volunteerism. And that really pays dividends at times like this, to have that strong base of people willing to pitch in and help in just a variety of different ways.
And that helps not only youth dreams, but everyone's dreams.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us and helping us guide the way through these challenging times. We'll bring you back, see how we're going, because, of course, everything is measured, right?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks very much, Rick Gordon, for joining us on Edina.
Thanks.
Well, Edina businesses are rallying around this challenging economy, and that's because they have a strong Chamber of Commerce. And joining us to talk about the Chamber of Commerce efforts is the President, Ari Larson-Manty. Thanks for joining us on Edina.
Great to be here, Lillian, as always.
So, the economy, businesses, you're telling me they don't want to hear about it anymore.
They don't want to hear about it anymore. Almost to a person, member-wise, that I've talked to over probably since maybe September, to be honest with you, when you really started to see a slowdown. And I think October, when the market really started to take a dip, is when most people started to realize we might have a serious problem on our hands. Businesses in Edina are saying we're choosing not to participate in a recession, and we're not. And most of them are coming back to me and saying, business is down, certainly. We're not going to deny that whatsoever. We're not living in a cocoon. But they're pushed through it because that's all they know how to do. And I think what they're saying to people is, please turn off the radio, turn off the TV, get out, shop, live your life, keep doing what you do.
Right.
If
Don't
you
shut
can,
down.
Don't shut down. Don't be afraid.
Make changes.
Exactly.
We've talked on this program about changes to your budget, changes
intelligent shopping, intelligent purchases. But don't slow down if you can afford not to totally end it. And I think that's huge. And I think we saw that at the Galleria over the holidays. It was very busy. I heard Southdale was bumper to bumper busy the last 2 weeks of the holidays. So I think you saw that. I just heard coming in the car that retail sales were reported up for January. So I think that maybe Edina is one of those that is hopefully going to lead the way out of this because of what we do in Edina and how well we're managed.
Well, of course, all businesses, though, make cutbacks so that they would encourage.
Absolutely. I think all of our companies have gone through, our business managers have gone through and cut down to the bone and got to where they, perhaps should have been before even, but they're lean and they're mean and they're fighting back, and I think that's amazing. We're located down here on 50th and France for the show today, and RF Moeller just around the corner is one of them leading the way, saying all through the holidays they're not participating in the recession, and they worked really hard not to.
Hardest hit businesses in this economy?
I think you're
Housing market?
Housing market, but there was an article in the Star Tribune a couple weeks ago where the Edina housing market is surviving very well, and I think it's because it was in a good place to start. I think any business, any company, any housing, if it was good to begin with, it's going to take a hit but not fall below perhaps just a settling point.
And Edina's business sector is it's diverse.
It is,
and it's unique.
It's a very unique business. We don't have much manufacturing. Would say one of the largest manufacturers we have is a Dow Chemical arm called FilmTech, and they produce actually water purification for international uses. And they were hiring all the way through the holidays. Now, I'm sure they probably hit where they needed to be. But because you don't have a housing manufacturing industry here, that has not affected us. We are a high-end service provider community. That carries through from the hospitals to our restaurants to our shops down here on 50th, the Galleria, even to financial planning, insurances. I mean, that's what we offer. And so if people still need that and are acquiring those type of needs or wants, that's what they're going to come to Edina for. So that hasn't really... Hopefully it's slowed down but not stopped.
And we have to look at the fact that in Edina we have a business model that involves schools,
Absolutely.
city, and the business community.
Yep, my mantra since I've been here is the three-legged stool, and as anybody knows, it's got to be even or you're going to tip over on your stool. The city is one of the best managed cities in the state. We don't get much funding, and that's going to help Edina survive this. The school district is ranked high in the country. In fact, I heard the other day that it was the high school is ranked in the top 2% of high schools in the country. That brings people into Edina to live, which brings in commerce to our businesses, and that's
Even though the schools are dependent on the state dollar.
Right, but they're well managed, so they're not seeing even their cutbacks. They're going to see, and hopefully with our housing stock staying the same, all the taxes are being paid, and that keeps everything moving through.
And the community businesses, the ones that you work with from the chamber the other day, around that model.
They sure do. And I think it's the unique type of restaurants and shops and services that we offer that keeps Edina strong. You're not going to find a lot of our businesses other places in the city or even in the country for that matter.
We're seeing any losses in the forecast that you know of?
I have not heard of people with any kind of massive layoffs coming through my office at all. But again, we're not in a manufacturing place where we're not at Detroit where you're going to feel that type of an impact.
Businesses that might want to become members of the Chamber of Commerce?
Please contact us. 952-806-9060 is our main number, or our website is edinachamber.com. We'd love to meet you.
The benefits, of course, of being a member.
We're trying to keep the business focused, keep us strong, and keep us moving forward, and we're doing that through some good programming and keeping you informed on what is going on in Washington through the U.S. Chamber and our connection with that, and just making us a well-educated business community.
And, of course, the President's well-educated on the subject matter. Ari, always nice to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Thanks for joining us once again.
You bet.
We're all tightening our belts right now, but we can still plan for a financial future with a little help from a financial planner. Jeff O is joining us right now from the K&W Group. Thanks so much for joining us on In Edina.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a tough time right now. We don't know whether to take our money out or put it in, and it's really tough to watch a statement when the numbers are going, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a really tough year. Down 40% from our highs. It's not fun for anybody to see their 401k balances or their brokerage accounts down that much. Right now, I think is a critical time, though, in terms of a long-term plan to refocus on what your plan is and not throw in the towel at these low levels, and really get with an advisor and talk about what you're trying to accomplish going forward. We can't do much about what happened in the last year, but moving forward, I think is imperative not to just ignore it.
Mm-hmm. And it matters how old you are, too, because obviously you're dependent on your portfolio for retirement purposes.
Exactly. And I think what's happened over the last year is people have reevaluated their risk level. And clearly, people that thought they were aggressive perhaps aren't as aggressive as they thought after stocks are down so much. But reevaluating what type of risk you want to take on your portfolio right now is important.
What do you recommend, or does that matter by age?
It does matter by age and what type of time horizon you have. If it's retirement in 5 years, that's much different than someone who's saving for for college education for a newborn. So it's all indicative on that.
And for those of us that are in the middle, you got to create a balance.
You do.
Right?
You have some type of a balance between stocks and bonds, looking for growth from those stocks and then some stability and income from the bonds.
Your advice right now is to retool.
It is, yeah, to reevaluate where you're at, but definitely don't ignore it. But also don't get so emotional about things that you're watching the 24-hour news cycle and then making decisions that perhaps are more emotionally based than investment based.
Yeah, I bet your phone rings off the hook every time a big economic story crashes on the radio or the television, and then you're just kind of like, well, hang on.
It does, yeah, and it's very easy to get fearful. But Warren Buffett has said that he likes to be greedy when people are fearful and fearful when people are greedy. And right now, clearly, it's a time where people are fearful, and so he's been putting some money to work in these market times. And so I think that's someone to learn from.
Okay, so we should call our financial planner, retool our portfolios. But what if we can't invest? We've been laid off, and we're struggling through that process right now. What is your advice for somebody who's out of work?
Yeah, I think the big thing there is to make sure we don't pull our 401k out and just take the cash. If we do that, you pay your taxes on it, plus you pay a 10% penalty, and then half of your balance is really gone. So if you can, keep the 401k where it is, or roll it over into an IRA, and continue to have that to hopefully grow for you for the long term. And as things get better for you from an employment standpoint, you'll be very happy that you didn't tap into that money.
Borrow another Warren Buffett quote: if you've got some money to invest, make sure you can hold it there for 10 years and not worry about it.
Exactly. Or if you were going to make an investment and you had a 10-year time horizon and you weren't able to sell it, that's the type of thing you want to think about versus day trading or looking to get out after you've held a stock or a mutual fund for just a week or a month.
If it sounds too good, it probably is.
Exactly. We've learned that these last year or so.
Yeah, that was a tough lesson, huh?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Jeff O., financial planner, thanks so much for your money help, and we look forward to having you back as we track the economy together.
Thank you.
Well, now we have an opportunity to learn how to save money and save energy, and that's top of mind these days for sure. Joining us to talk about this, Paul Tufson and Julie Risser. Thank you very much for joining us on Edina.
It's good to be here.
You both work on the Edina-based Energy and Environment Commission. Julie, what's the mission?
The mission of the commission is to help individuals and institutions, faith-based communities, schools cut their energy costs and really make it possible for them to save money. There's a lot of potential.
And that's actually part of a bigger plan going on in the state of Minnesota. We have a goal by 2020 to cut use by 25%.
25% for all businesses, schools, and homes, which means that families should be sitting down and saying, how do we cut 3% every year, beginning now, for the next 11 years if we're going to reach that goal, which has big implications looking at the big picture.
Is there that much waste?
There is. In a way, that's the good news. We're kind of sloppy with our energy use, and there's a lot of potential for cutting back.
So how do we do this here in the household? Let's start there.
I would start with switching out your regular incandescent bulbs to compact fluorescent. There's huge opportunity for saving on electricity consumption, and also there's lots of opportunity to save money.
How much do we really save?
Over the lifetime of the bulb, you can save between $30 and $50 per bulb. That adds up. It's significant. Also, take care of those appliances. Make sure that you have a refrigerator that's running efficiently. Is there buildup near the intake? You need to take off that front panel, vacuum regularly. It's making your refrigerator work harder, and it's also making it use a lot of electricity.
Or spare appliances that may be sitting in the basement or the garage.
Exactly. Do you need that fridge in the basement? Are you only using it when you have a big party? Is it something that you actually have to have running all the time? So I think if people would just go around, look at the rooms in their house, and think about what could be eliminated.
I use a thermostat that regulates use during the day or at night, and then there's the energy saver switch that people can get involved in with their electric companies.
Right. You can make that request.
Okay.
So.
And then now that we're in between seasons, are there things we should be looking at in terms of as we put our furnaces to bed for a while and start revving up the air conditioners?
Well, I always think like ceiling fans are a great idea for circulating air, keeping things cool, and cutting back on air conditioning use. But the thing that I'd like to focus on is the phantom energy use that we aren't even aware of. Are you unplugging appliances when you're not using them? Are you using power strips? And they even have smart power strips now where you can flick a switch and it shuts off everything plugged into a power strip.
So what you're saying is when things are still plugged in, even if they're not on, they're still,
They're
as
still
a clock,
pulling.
drawing
Yeah.
energy, and that's a waste.
A lot of energy. It's
And that's the
amazing.
phantom.
That's the phantom.
Okay, interesting.
And there's potential for saving energy when it comes to driving, the way we move around. It's not just electricity consumption that we can reduce. We can also reduce our consumption of gas.
So we're talking about carpooling,
Mhm.
or bus, walking,
Right.
biking.
Planning your trip so that when you go out with your car, it's a special event and you get everything done that you can, filling up your car as much as possible, and cutting back on idling or not idling at all when you're picking up your child at school and when you're waiting. If you can get out of your car and keep the air clean. We have young lungs at work around schools, and those cars put out a lot of emissions.
There's a way we can sit down and actually take a look at our own behaviors and our own use. I like this idea by going to the website and filling out a little chart so we can sit down. Talk a little
Right, the
bit.
carbon calculator of the Minnesota Energy Challenge, which is mnenergychallenge.org. Families can determine different actions that they want to take and see on the screen how much carbon they'll save, how much money they'll save by taking a pledge. And Edina is now ranked 9th in the state with numbers of families that have taken the energy challenge. So we encourage that.
That's great. And we're a city of many cities worldwide that are working on this together.
We are. We're really stepping up, and we need to get individuals. Everybody needs to get involved.
All right, one person, one light bulb.
One
right?
person, one light bulb. Turn out those lights.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your work on this. We'll have you back to see how we're doing. Keep us on track. 3% a year down. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
All right, save
Excellent.
energy, save money. Paul and Julie, thanks very much for joining us on Edina.
Thank you.
For some cost-effective ways and how to brighten up your home, we talked to Suzanne Hauglin, owner of Decori Designs, which is where we are. Thank you so much for letting us bring this broadcast to our viewers from your beautiful store.
We're enjoying everything here.
And the Economies puts a damper on people's minds, but you know, there's some really simple, free, or cost-effective ways to brighten things up, especially this time of year.
There really are. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Somewhere down the road, you're going to go back into it and you're going to make your homes pretty with other things. But right now, if you just move the furniture, you know, moving a piece of furniture from one room to another or moving it around within a room will make you feel better. It's different. It's something different than it was yesterday. Painting a wall. Paint is not the most expensive thing. You can paint walls and you'll feel better about
A
it.
little bit of labor, but it does feel clean and looks bright and
that,
new and
that
cheery.
makes that a
What are the
whole
colors that are in right now?
You know, you see the chocolate brown, you see the side of that slate blue, lime green, things that are kind of making it feel good. The lime green and the blue, or the lime green and the brown, and somewhat of the blue, you know, if you add it in as an accent. It just feels fresh, so we're seeing that. We always see red. Anytime we put red in our store, whether it's a sofa or an accessory, it will sell. People love red, and it always makes you feel good.
And colors, you know, they brighten things up. And you've got some other simple things too, like growing some grass, for instance. You've got these little grass
Right.
ornaments, if you will, throughout the store.
Basically, you put a little dirt in a plate and you sprinkle grass seed on it, you water it, cover it with saran wrap, put it in a window, and within a week you get grass. We planted this last Thursday, and it smells good, it feels good. You cut it with the scissors. It'll last about 3 weeks, and then it starts to rot, so you end up having to start over
It's
again.
a little spring transition
feels
to
good.
kind of get us from that in-between
Sure.
icky gray phase that's going on with the weather right now,
And
too.
buying plants, just buying a green plant to put in your house or a bouquet of flowers. Those are not real expensive things, but they will make you feel better about your house.
I like some of the ideas that you believe in, too, is repurposing
Mm-hmm.
old quality
Mm,
pieces, whether it's
absolutely.
furniture, sofas, woods, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Pillows is another simple thing that you
Sure.
can do.
You know, if somebody has a pillow and just having new covers made, or make them yourself, or buy a new cover, you get an inexpensive cover, and recover what you have. And if you're working with neutral furniture, any color will work. So, you know, these are just covers that we put on, and we always use a down, feather down insert so that it has a softer feel and it just feels better than a stiff poly.
And these are small little things that sort of make you feel
Yeah,
good.
makes you feel
in
good.
your own home,
Yeah.
cost-effective ways. Now, you think that, you know, even though the economy is it's tight right now, doing some of these cost-effective things brightens your spirits up in the home too. And people are out there buying. They're
Yes.
buying smart now.
Exactly.
And that's a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. People are thinking more about how they spend that money. One of the things that we like to tell people is, especially with upholstered furniture, if it's a piece of furniture that you're going to use, it's going in your family room, that's not one of the places where you try to cut corners. That's a spot where you want to make sure that it's good quality. And that piece can have good quality. You can change fabric, and that will make a difference in the price. So you don't have to have as expensive a fabric on it. And it will still be a quality piece of furniture, and that's the way people should spend their money. Otherwise, you're really not saving anything. In the long run, you're replacing it again.
So living room furniture, bedroom furniture,
Yeah.
pieces that you use, utility pieces.
Yeah, an
Right.
accessory. You can find accessories that aren't going to be expensive. You're not using them, you're looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find something that's really pretty, excuse me, but it's not costing a lot of money to do it.
Some people don't have a clue on how to decorate things.
Mhm.
I know it helps to kind of step out of the same old routines.
Right.
What can we do for that service?
Well, that's kind of what we do. We're designers here, and years ago, one of my clients said to me, I want you to stretch me, but I don't want you to make me uncomfortable. And I think that's a good way to use a designer. They shouldn't come in your home and make it feel like their home or the picture that's in the magazine this month. It should be your home. And so they should incorporate things that you have that are special to you and use that person. I mean, it's cost effective to use them. Or you make mistakes and you're back to, well, that didn't fit into the budget because I'm doing it over again.
So you offer free advice if folks are investing in products from your store, or
Right.
if they just come out and they want some design help, they can
Exactly.
hire your service as well for an hourly rate.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate the cost-effective ways and all the way up to the quality ways that we can invest and sort of reinvent our homes as we make changes in this challenging economy and look forward to brighter futures and good-looking places to live.
Good.
Suzanne, thank you so much for having us
You're
here in your
welcome.
store. We really appreciate it. It's very comfortable.
Good.
And we'll have you back again.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank all of our guests for their tips on how we can tighten our belts and make our way in this challenging economy. We'd like to thank you for watching. Special thanks to Decori Designs for letting us shoot this broadcast right here in their very own beautiful store. I'm your host, Lillian McDonald. You've been watching In Edina. Until next time, have a great day.